Good morning. This topic is about the mystic drum. The mystic drum. What is poetry? A poem is a collection of spoken or written words that expresses ideas or emotions in a powerfully vivid and imaginative style. A poem is composed of a particular rhythmic and metrical pattern. It is a literary technique that is different from prose or ordinary speech, as it is either in a metrical pattern or in a free verse. Writers or poets express their emotions through this medium more easily as they face difficulty when expressing through some other medium. About the poet. Gabriel Okara is a Nigerian poet and novelist whose work has been translated into several languages. After his first poem, The Call of the River Nun, won an award at the Nigerian Festival of Arts in 1953. Several of his poems were featured in the Nigerian literary journal Black of Orpheus. Okra draws from Nigerian folklore and religion while exploring extremes within daily life through circular patterns in his poetry. He is known as one of the creators of modern African literature and led the rise of more attention towards African literature along with other African writers. One of the early awards that he received was a Best All Round award at the Nigerian Festival of Arts for his poem. The Call of the River Nun in 1953, another award that he received was for his book, The Fisherman's Invocation, where he won the Commonwealth Joint Poetry Award in 1979. The first modernist poet of Anglophone Africa, he is best known for his early experimental novel, The Voice, and his award winning poetry, published in The Fisherman's Invocation and The Dreamer, His Vision. The Mystic Drum Summary. The drum in African poetry generally stands for the spiritual pulse of traditional African life. The poet asserts that first, as the drum beat inside him, fishes danced in the rivers and men and women danced on the land to the rhyme of the drum. But standing behind the tree, there stood an outsider who smiled with an air of indifference at the richness of their culture. The drums still continued to beat, flowing the air with quickened beat, compelling the dead to dance and sing with their shadows. The ancestral glory overpowers other considerations. So powerful is the mystic drum that it brings back even the dead alive. The rhyme of the drum is aching for an ideal Nigerian state of harmony. The idea of cosmic unity in the poem does not last long. There is an end to this beating of the drum. The poem's thematic emphasis is on the upon how man nature became one when the mystic drum beats within him. But it's about the briefness of this knowledge. The return of the truth makes the poet sing, never to beat so loud anymore. Here there is a dialectic between tradition and influences. There is no obvious references to neocolonialism or cultural imperialism, and unlike Nyungi, Okra does not relate the problem of culture to the economic range. The mystic drum is a love poem. This was a lady I loved, and she coyly was not responding directly, but I adore her. Her demeanor seemed to mask her true feelings. At a distance, she seemed adoring, however, on coming closer, she was, after all, not what she seemed. This lady may stand as a symbol that signifies the lure of Western life, how it seemed appealing at first, but later came across as distasteful to the poet. The outsider still continued to smile at the culture from distance. The outsider stands for Western imperialism that has looked down upon anything Eastern, non-Western, alien, and therefore incomprehensible of their own good and as others. The African culture is so much in tune with nature that the mystic drum invokes the sun, the moon, the river gods, and the trees begin to dance. The gap finally gets bridged between humanity and nature. The animal world and human world, the herstosphere and lithosphere, that fishes turned men and men became fishes. But later, as the mystic drum stopped beating, men became men and fishes became fishes. Life now come became dry, logical and mechanical thanks to Western scientific imperialism, and everything found its place. Leaves started sprouting on the woman, she started to flourish on the land. Gradually her roots struck the ground. The spreading a kind of parched rationalism. Smoke diffused from her lips, and her lips parted in the smile. The term smoke is also suggestive of the pollution caused by industrialization and also the clouding of morals. The speaker was left in bleaching darkness, completely cut off from the heart of his culture, and he packed off the mystic drum not to beat loudly anymore. The belching darkness alludes to futile light and hollowness of imposed existence. Themes of the mystic drum. The poet says that the rhythm continues to capture the moments by stealing away the things on earth, the sun, the moon, and the river gods with its magic essence of joy. It even made indifference among creatures. The fishes turned men, and men turned. The rhythm and the beats inside him stopped, and all significance and detached and captured natural element were let, let out free. The dead were left uninterrupted, and their crucial and time started to change, getting out of the immobility. The stranger who stood behind wasn't just standing and having a sight at the culture whereas was planting its roots into the grounds and had grown. He meant the civilization changed along with industrialization, and so the darkness got spread, although his culture and practices. In the end, the poet packed his cultural practices and eagerness within him, went far away, and the rhythm remained silent forever. The outsider, at first only as an objective role standing behind a tree, he intrudes and tries to weave their spiritual life. The leaves around her waist are very much aggressive of Eve who allowed the same after losing her innocence. Leaves stop growing on the trees, but only shoot on her head, signifying deforestation. The refrain reminds us again and again that this Eve turns out to be the Eve of Nigerian damnation. Symbolism takes something that is usually concerned and associates or affixes it to something else in order to give it a new and more significant meaning. In other words, symbolism is everywhere. Symbolism exists whenever something is meant to represent something else. Symbolism is a figure of speech that is used when an author wants to create a certain mood or emotions in a work of literature. It is the use of an object, person, situation, or a word to present something else, like an idea in literature. Some common types of symbolism include metaphor, a comparison between two unlike things without using the word like or as. For example, the phrase time is money is an example of metaphor comparing time to money. Money and time are two different things. This is an example of symbolism because this word shows the significance of using your money and time wisely. Uh, Allegory. Extended metaphor. An allegory can be an entire story, a poem, or a book with symbolism that continues throughout the literary piece. In novel Animal Farm by George Orwell, animals on the farm are used to represent the events leading up to the Russian Revolution. The animals on the farm represent how greed and not having concern for others impact revolution. Symbolism used in the poem The Mystic Drum. The poet says that the mystic drum inside this culture inside him is making everyone in the land merry with his charishma. The fishes in the rivers are dancing, and peoples on the land are dancing along with the rhyme of the drum. Looking at this joyful scene stands a strange woman, a strange culture, smiling and shaking her head. This gesture is maybe of acceptance of admiration. Ignoring the stranger's presence, he says, still his culture is lively and is rippling the air with a quickness of which beat with which even makes the dead dance with her rhythm. Again, looking at this blissful scene stands a strange woman, a strange culture, smiling and shaking her head. This gesture may be of acceptance of admiration, ignoring again. He says that the rhythm continues to capture the moments by stealing away the things on earth, the sun, moon, river gods, which with its majestic essence of joy. It even made indifferent among creatures. The fishes turned men turned fishes. Rhythm and beats inside him stopped. All the indifference was removed and the captured natural elements were let out free. The dead were left undistributed in their grave, and time started to change, getting out of the stillness. The stranger who stood yeah, who stood behind wasn't just standing and having sight at the culture whereas was planting its roots into the grounds and had grown. He means that civilization changed along with industrialization, and so the darkness got spread although his culture and practice. In the end, the poet packed his cultural practice and enthusiasm with him and went far away, and the rhythm remained silent forever. In this unit, we undertook to examine some of the key events and circumstances of life of Gabriel Okra alongside his literary career. He has also worked as an actor and is theatres in Nigeria, Great Britain. His works also includes poetry, novels, and essays. What does the term drum symbolizes in the mystic drum? What postcolonial aspects are found in the Gabriel Okra poems, the mystic drums? What happened to the men and fishes when the drum invoked the sun and moon in the mystic drums? Thank you.